Madam President, 2 months ago, General David Petraeus came to Capitol Hill to explain the situation in Baghdad and to outline his plan for improving it. And then we ratified that plan. A Democratic-controlled Senate sent General Petraeus to Iraq without dissent. There were no illusions about what the mission would involve. We'd demand greater cooperation from the Iraqi government, and they'd get greater security in return. If they gave us room to help secure the capital city, they'd have room to build a civil society. Now that mission is underway. Security is improving, and political reforms have followed. We were told there would be no political reforms in Iraq without basic security first. But if we could secure the capital, then we could expect to see reforms. That's what General Petraeus told us. That's the story he told us we could hope to see unfold. And if we did, we'd have reason to hope for success. We'd have a chance to win this. Now we've got that chance. The question is, will we fan this spark of hope, or will we smother it? The Democratic leadership has a different view. They don't seem to think situations can change. They've made no allowance for improvements in Iraq. They call for change in course, but the only change in course they seem to approve of is retreat. The bill they sent the President today says one of two things. It says they're either determined to lose this war, or they're convinced it's already lost. There's no other way to look at it. Nothing good can come from this bill. It all but guarantees a delay in the delivery of supplies and equipment to the troops on the ground. It's loaded with pork that has no relation to our efforts in Iraq or Afghanistan. And it includes a deadline for evacuation that amounts to sending a save the card to al-Qaeda. A date that isn't tied to circumstances on the ground, a date that's completely arbitrary, pulled out of thin air, a date the terrorists have already marked on their calendars. This bill is the document of our defeat. That's why the President has said for weeks that he won't sign it. And because it has no chance of becoming law, because the Democrats knew it never had a chance of becoming law, it's nothing more than a political statement. A political statement that says the Democrats have traded in the possibility of military victory for the promise of political victory here at home. They've said as much. Earlier this week, one of the Democratic leaders said this is about the emergency supplemental bill. He said it's not one battle, it's a long-term campaign. And that's what the aim of this. So what is the aim of this long-term campaign? Pressure the President to retreat. The Democratic leadership is telling the President to retreat through a spending bill that's meant to deliver emergency equipment and supplies to our troops. But I ask you, if the war is already lost, if it's already time to declare defeat, then why wait another year to do it? Why not simply vote against funding now? Would anyone disagree that it's wrong to ask American soldiers to stick it out for another year if you think the battle is already over? If Democrats want to end this war, they should vote against funding it. That would clearly end the war. But apparently that's not what's going to happen. They'll wait another year. They'll supply enough of our soldiers to fight a war they think we've already lost. And they'll just use the spending bill that funds that extra year of fighting as a vehicle for pork. There's more than $20 billion of spending in this bill that has nothing whatsoever to do with the war in Iraq or Afghanistan, and most of it simply shouldn't be there. A senior senator from Nevada has said repeatedly that this spending bill is serious. How serious is $2.5 million for tours of the Capitol? It's $3 million for sugarcane, serious. $22.8 million for geothermal research, or $13 million for U replacement and retention. Is all of that serious? This bill was intended to fund and equip American men and women who've left their families to risk their lives overseas. But in some ways, it's become a bit of a joke. It's ballooned into a gravy train for members. It absurdly broadcasts to our enemies a date certain for the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq, and it's designed to draw a veto, risking that the very supplies it means to deliver won't even get there in time. The American people are watching this charade. They have reason to be confused. They even have reasons to be angry. I'm pleased my colleagues voted against this bill to show that it's right for the President to veto it and to show we'll proudly sustain that veto. Then we can get about our real mission to fund the troops. Let's hope the President gets this bill as quickly as possible so he can do with it what it deserves. No bill has deserved the veto pen more than this one.